I think Oklahoma in general looks pretty good. Southern Kansas, I think, will be okay. Western Kansas is going to be pretty tough. They've missed all the rains this spring.
Welcome back to the Comstock channel. Thank you for joining us. I'm Marlon Bowling, and I'm joined by Paul Paplow. And we're going to be talking about how custom harvesting is going this year. He is actually vice president of the U.S. Custom Harvesters Incorporated, and he hails from Northwest Iowa. We'll get to Paul in just a second. Make sure you like this video and click on that bell icon below. That way you'll be subscribed, and we'll let you know when new updates come out each and every day. And also share this video with others as well. Today is important because we're going to be talking with Paul about the wheat harvest that is already well underway. Paul, as I mentioned, you hail from Northwest Iowa, but that's not where you are right now. So where do you originate from in Iowa?
So I'm from Ocheyedan, Iowa, which is very northwest corner, about 2 miles off the Minnesota state line.
Now, do you do custom harvesting full time, or how does that fit into your operation?
Yeah, pretty much full time. Farm a little bit ourselves up at home, but otherwise pretty much custom harvesting. We'll start mid-May and finish up, hopefully Thanksgiving time or sometimes in December.
It's a hard life, I know. I used to live in the plains, and I'd watch the crews come through every year. So back home in Iowa, what are conditions like there? I keep hearing about a lot of people complaining about how wet the growing season is.
It is very wet. We had good conditions early, probably kind of the early side for planting, but some people did plant and got their crops in. Some held off for a better forecast, warmer weather, and it just never did get, conditions never got better. It did warm up, but it's just been wet, and I'd say most guys got everything in now. Some replant has been done, but we had 2.5 inches of rain again, so all the replant that was done, I'm sure, is back underwater, so maybe we have to do it a third time.
Seen lots of pictures and videos of fields underwater, and our hearts go out to everybody that's struggling with that this year. Some areas it's just too dry to get a crop going if you go in parts of the Southwest. And speaking of that part of the country, you happen to be where, in northern Texas right now?
Yeah, Wichita Falls, Texas.
So you're cutting winter wheat, I take it, you and the crew.
Yep.
Where did you start on your journey with wheat harvest this year?
We are starting in Wichita Falls. So
Okay.
down here probably about a week ago, got started cutting on Saturday.
All right. So the question is, what are you finding? What kind of wheat are you running into there?
They got a nice crop down here this year. The last 10 years have been pretty hard on the farmers down here with drought or freeze damage. They can never get an actual crop. But anywhere from 30 to 55 has been the range in yields. So I'd say everything's better than what we've probably cut in the last 10 years down here.
That's almost a surprise for that part of the country, isn't it?
It is, yep. We've been used to 15, 20 bushel yields for the last 10 years, so it's actually very nice to have a nice crop to harvest for once.
You probably have to slow down a little bit when you cut now.
A little bit, yep.
So what are you finding for test weights and moisture?
Everything we've seen for test weights has been 63 up to 65 pounds. Moisture, we've gotten some down to 11%, but most of it's been that 13.5 to 15%. We haven't gotten anything real dry yet. So we're bumping green wheat the whole time, so it's ready, but just not quite ready though either.
Well, now you talked about the yields that you think you're getting. How does that compare with what the farmer thought it would make?
They never really said what they thought it'd make. They said they'd have a nice crop. They seem pretty content in what they're getting for yields though. And they did have some hail damage around here too, is from storms probably 2-3 weeks ago. So I'm sure that took the top edge off some of it, but no, they seem pretty content in what we've harvested so far.
Now, in that part of the country, do they ever try and do any double cropping after wheat or not?
Our farmers do not, but I'm sure some guys do. I'm sure some guys try to put cotton in after the wheat crop.
Kind of risky there with the moisture situation.
Yep.
Give me an idea what kind of a route your team will be taking as you move forward. The wheat harvest will be moving northward. I always call it the harvest front. And generally, I think it probably moves northward, 10 or 20 miles a day?
Yeah, I'd say 20 to 50, something like that. So from Wichita Falls here, we'll be heading over to Hobart, Oklahoma, and Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Then up in southern Kansas in the Kiowa-Anthony area, Pratt, Kansas, and we go out west by Tribune. So from Tribune, we'll head out to Nebraska, up by Ogallala. Then we head to Great Falls, Montana from there.
What are you hearing from the farmers you contract with as far as how the wheat looks in their area?
I think Oklahoma in general looks pretty good. Southern Kansas, I think, will be okay. Western Kansas is going to be pretty tough. They've missed all the rains this spring. Nebraska, I've not talked to anyone there yet, so I really couldn't tell you. But Montana, as of right now, they're expecting a pretty big crop. So I think everything's exceptionally well.
So you said you've been at this about a week now. How long do you do this?
We'll finish up in November. So from now until mid-November. So we'll get a good.
And you'll probably be in Kansas. Let's see, if you have to go through Oklahoma yet, probably what, in about a week and a half?
Yeah, I'd say probably 10 days. We'll be up into Kansas.
All right. So what kind of operation do you have? How many acres do you guys cover in a day?
In a day, I guess really depends on the conditions. I'd say a bad day 1,000, good day 2,000. So, and we'll cover about 100, probably about 130,000 acres in a year.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so you need some good equipment when you do that. What do you do? Trade for new every year?
Yep, we run new machines yearly. So all 8250 Case H equipment. So we do have one 8260 also, I guess. So one of the new models that got released last week.
How many units are you running?
We run 10.
My goodness. Okay, that's a big size operation. Well, you mentioned when you go up into Kansas, you'll be in southern Kansas. It sounds to me like you may miss like the Oklahoma Panhandle and southwest Kansas, where there may not be much to cut.
Yeah, we don't go in that area at all. So we kind of stay kind of more the eastern side, central Oklahoma, central Kansas. And then as we get up to Tribune, be kind of west central Kansas. And it's going to be a little rough out there. They've missed all the rain, so we don't get into the panhandles at all.
Well, I know planting equipment, for example, has changed a lot over the last few years. What about harvesting equipment?
Oh, by far. Don't need near the machines that you would used to need because it's so much bigger, capacity-wise, bigger, technology so much better. So operator comfort's huge in them. So I spend a lot of time in them, so it's nice to have a comfortable cab.
I would imagine these days storage at the local elevators probably isn't too much of a problem.
No, as of right now, it's not. So everything's been going pretty good. But I'd imagine by the time harvest wraps up around this area, there's going to be a storage issue as this bigger crop than what they've had lately. So
well, that's a good problem to have. So do you normally haul the grain yourself, or does a farmer take care of that?
Nope, we do all the trucking also. So we're a full service operation, I guess. So combine, carting, and trucking.
So how much of it do you haul to town and how much to the farm?
Down south here, pretty much everything goes to town except for seed wheat. So I would say 95% will go to town down here. As we get north, a lot more goes in grain bins.
So it sounds like overall you're just pleasantly surprised maybe with the way the wheat is looking so far?
Oh yeah, very happy. Yep. So
all right,
looking like this rest year, it'll be a good year.
Well, I appreciate the update. Thanks for taking time, and I know you're very busy. You actually got rained out last night, didn't you?
We ran into wet wheat last night, but didn't get any rain. But yeah, now it's foggy and misting this morning. So if we do anything today, it'll be very, very late. So a good day for maintenance.
Okay, that's a good point, and never enough time for that, I know.
No.
Well, Paul, I wish you the best. Thank you for taking time to talk with us and get us updated on what's going on. And I hope you have good luck during the harvest season, and I hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend holiday, too.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Paul Paplow with us, taking a look at the wheat harvest in northern Texas right now. He's around the Wichita Falls area. We'll have more updates as we continue through this harvest season. Thanks for joining us. For producer Brianne Hendrickson, I'm Marlon Bowling. We'll catch you next time right here on the Comstock channel. Thanks for joining us on our Comstock YouTube channel. Don't forget you can also find us on Facebook and TikTok as well. Futures trading involves risk. The risk of loss in trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results.